Waiting for the on the air light there?
Should be on the air.
She's hitting the ball well,
Are we on
right?
the, are we on the air?
Playing good defense.
We on?
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this city council meeting to order. May I have the roll call, please?
Mayor Gotel,
Here.
Councilmember Fitzhenry,
Here.
Councilmember Rogie,
Here.
Councilmember Elliott, Councilmember Sandal is absent this evening.
I would move to excuse
we have to-
Councilmember Sandal.
Do we have to do that after the agenda, though? Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? She is excused. We have no one for the open forum, so we will go to the Pledge of Allegiance. Would everybody please stand and join us? I pledge allegiance. At this time, I'd ask the council for approval of the minutes of the first regular city council meeting of April 10th, 2012.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're approved. We have presentations. This is always the fun time of year because we're looking forward to the 4th of July, aren't we? And we have our ambassadors in the audience, and they've been serving us for quite a long time. It went fast, didn't it? And so I have certificates of approval. I'm sure we're going to be calling up, and we're going to introduce all of you. And it's real exciting. So we have certificates for the Miss Richfield Ambassador and Junior Ambassador. So whoever's going to join me up here at the mic. You want to talk to us about the program? Yep, you're on.
Okay. Well, tonight we have here our junior ambassador candidates and our ambassador candidates for this year. We have been active since about March. So far we have had a pajama party where the candidates have had pizza, they did crafts, and they played games. We've had image clinic where the candidates learned about etiquette and learned a little bit about dressing for success. And this last weekend we cleaned up Veterans Park, and then we had a bowling party. Yet to come, we have a community dinner. We're going to be packing meals at a Kids Against Hunger event. And of course, we have the 4th of July festivities where our candidates will be involved in family night and the street dance and the parade and the 4th of July fireworks. And then, of course, the coronation at Richfield High School on July 5th.
That's wonderful. Well, if you want to start, we have certificates for our current. Do you want to start with our current?
Our current.
Ambassadors. So if you would just step forward, then everybody can see you. And maybe we could just have everybody line up here. So as the camera pans and some shots will, I'm sure, want to be taken, stand up in front of the council. So go ahead and ring their names.
Well, first I want to recognize our 2 junior ambassadors for this year, and they're both unfortunately home ill tonight, but I do want to mention their names. We have Tejas Ramanujam and Lorelei Schwab, and they're very unhappy that they couldn't be here with you tonight. And then we also have Michelle Heineke. She's one of our older girl ambassadors, and she is away at college. She's not able to be here tonight. But we do have Eleni Sanchez and Molly Coughlin.
Okay, do you want to start with the juniors?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, stay up there so we can all see you.
All right, so you're going to shake their hands.
Yeah, come on up to me, take your hand, get your certificate, and stand up there with these lovely ladies. Please.
Okay, so juniors, come up as I call your name. Our first junior ambassador candidate for this year is Taya Bartel. Shelby Bowler. Adeline Carson. Kima Harris. Holland Jewell. Mara Lean. Go. Ariana Navarro. And Ariana Wolterstorff. All right, so now should we do our older girl candidates?
Yes.
Miranda Severson Kelly. Emily Blom. Is she here today? She's here. Andrea Camacho Castillo. Bailey Carlson. Alexandra Jeffrey. Yesenia Lazama Alvarado. Estrella Soto. Mitzi Aguilar. Stephanie Chavez Estrada. Maki Love. Meron Senbeta. Sarah Catcher. And Sarah Fitzpatrick. And we have two of our older girl candidates who are not here tonight, Madison Andrews and Liliana Rodriguez. And we'll make sure we get these to them.
And I just want to wish all you ladies the best of luck. You know, no matter whether you win or lose here, you're all winners because you all learn so much and gain so much from this process. And I really want to thank, these are our future leaders, folks, in our community, these ladies here. So thank you very much. Thank you for serving your community. So turn around and wave to your council members. Say hi.
Thanks, lady.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. We'll see you the 4th of July. It's a large group this year. This is wonderful. Good job, ladies. We'll let them get out of the way a little bit. Next, we have council discussion and hats off to Hometown Hits. Councilmember Elliott.
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't really have much to offer except that had an opportunity this afternoon to take the dogs out and walk them through the neighborhood. And in keeping with Dewtown and some of the exciting things you've told us about that are starting to vibrate through the community, I just want to suggest when we get weather like today, if you have an opportunity at all, go out, walk, run, ride your bike. I mean,
Nature Center.
just walking through the neighborhoods and seeing everything is green and everything budding and everything. It's an incredible lift and it feels good. And you know, you walk through the city and you see how clean and fresh and everything is, and you really realize what a great opportunity it is to live in Richfield.
Thank you. Councilmember.
I do have something, Madam Mayor. I got a happy note for the Beyond Yellow Ribbon type. We're going to welcome back our returning firefighter, Mark Watsett. He was the over there. He's part of the 133rd Civil Engineering Squadron. They were deployed 6 months in Southwest Asia. They are some of the last to return of a larger contingent of 67 squadron members who are part of the 133rd Airlift Wing. The firefighters were led by Fire Chief Air Force Senior Master Sergeant, but our firefighter was the Assistant Chief, which And I was talking to our current fire chief. He said he'd rather be on the hose now than in the administration. But some of the things they did, while they were over there, they provided fire protection, paramedic, environmental, and emergency response coverage to a large multinational air base in Southwest Asia. During their deployment, they provided support for 14 units transitioning out of Iraq. They observed an increase from 15 to 70 U.S. aircraft and enabled the airfield to operate at more than 400% its rated capacity. They provided hands-on training to the host nation firefighting forces on a routine basis, constructed realistic training structures, and conducted live burn exercises on and off base. While on base, they responded to 4 in-flight emergencies. These aircraft engaged the emergency arresting barriers, and the possibility of aircraft fire and crew extraction may have been necessary. They were called to extinguish an electrical fire at a substation and medically evacuated several Air Force airmen and U.S. government contractors injured by the instigating explosion. Their speed and response and procedural excellence greatly reduced the damage that could have occurred and allowed the base to recover full capability in days rather than weeks. The 133rd firefighters provided fire education and prevention services to all base residents. See what else we got here. They did a lot. And many of these firefighters left their full-time employment across Minnesota, and one of them was our firefighter from Richfield. So I want to welcome him back and thank him for his service.
That's wonderful. Yes. Thanks to him. I'm sure he's glad to be home. I was going to ask staff, are we going to have a Memorial Day celebration? We have so many years in the past. And I know that, and Jim Toppensoffer, of course, must have heard this question. He's walking in the door now. So let's put him on the spot. Oh, and he left. See, I knew he didn't want to answer that question. He heard it. Mr. Toppensoffer, I was asking about whether we will be having a Memorial Day celebration this year, and maybe people could start planning and thinking about that.
Timing's everything.
Yes, it is.
Yes, there will be. There will be a Memorial Day event on Memorial Day. I think that's May 28th. It'll be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and much the same as we had before. It'll be mainly ceremony-based. We'll have some music there. Pretty much operate in the same type of ceremony that we always have, and we always get a great turnout. Last year we did partnered with the Village Shores to do a meal beforehand, and we're going to do that again. This year they're making a barbecued lunch, barbecue, and that will be at 11:30. So folks are invited to come and enjoy a dinner, and the proceeds on that dinner are go right back into the memorial, and then the ceremony at 2. We will be unveiling the remaining names of the 5th tablet. So the 5th tablet will be completely full, and we're working on our 6th tablet. And then we'll be making announcements about your decision to have us proceed with completing the monument this summer, and we're right on track to do that.
That's wonderful. Exciting. Thank you. Appreciate that. And Councilmember Elliott, you mentioned Dewtown.
I did.
I'm not putting you on the spot. You look
Okay.
at me like I was going to do something. I just wanted to point out to folks that if you come into City Hall, you'll see what we call an installation. And it's a chalkboard with a question. And you'll see that at the high school, but you'll see it at many other locations too. And these locations will move. What we want you to do is take the chalk up out of there and answer the question on the board. There's also Twitter accounts that you can also Twitter to. You can Facebook friend the City on the Dewtown, and you can answer the question. This is around health and wellness. So I just want to encourage people to get more engaged in this. This has been a great program so far, and we've got a lot more to do. The other thing is I wanted to say the farmers market's going to open up. You know, I used my last meat, my bratwurst from Eichton's, and my last cheese in the freezer from Eichton. So I'm really glad the farmers market's opening up. And as the farmers market opens up, you'll see me there most Saturdays, but my office hour will also be down there at the farmers market on the last Saturday of the month. I will be at the farmers market. Unless it falls on the 4th of July, then I always have to move it.
When does it open?
The 5th.
The 5th.
May 5th.
All right.
It's actually the first Saturday. And I believe we have two now. What is the date of the location over at Assumption? Do we have the date for Assumptions? Because, and I know I'm supposed to be at both those openings.
Yeah, our satellite market starts the first week of June.
Okay. And what day of the week
I
is
believe it went from a Friday to a Wednesday,
Yeah.
but we'll get that information out to you.
Okay, that will be good to get posted because I think everybody's going to want to know it. I mean, I think everybody's anxious. We've been out cleaning our gardens and things are up early this year. I think we're going to be ready to move here. Okay, that's great news. Thanks. And I don't see Mike Kiesling here, but I know Steve Devich, city manager, and I had just a brief discussion about some more innovative energy types of programs that are going on, and I would just like you to take 2 minutes to talk about what's coming down the line next after we did all this wonderful payback on the ice arena. Maybe you can remind us about that.
Okay, right. We're always, Madam Mayor, members of the council, we're always looking for ways to enact some kinds of energy improvements here for the city. A couple of years back, we made energy improvements at the ice arena, and that it was changing a lot of the mechanical, electrical kinds of things that operate the ice arena from antiquated equipment to new state-of-the-art, and that's showing up in significant savings in our energy consumption each year. The thing that we're looking at now is the idea, and it's on the very forefront, and that is looking at what we can find in terms of, well, first of all, right now we're relighting our liquor stores with the energy efficient LED lighting. And we have got a large percentage of the upfront cost is being rebated back to us by the energy company. But at the same time, we're going to have significant savings and brighter liquor stores. The one that's already mostly done is Penn. They're working on doing the Cedar store right now. And of course, Lindale is going to get a whole new lighting system with it as we do the interior remodeling of that store. So all three liquor stores are going to be operating with much improved energy efficient lighting. We're also looking at the idea of the of potentially solar panels and solar panel energy, perhaps on some of the buildings, like, I don't know where we tried first, but perhaps one of the liquor stores, to see what kind of incentives we could get up front to offset the initial capital cost of it, and then looking at the payback. I know that Pam is here, and you're familiar with some other energy stuff that we've done. I know something we just took a look at. Well, first of all, the energy improvements that we put in this city hall, when the White Group came back, told us we are looking at about a 5.2-year payback on all of that. So that's fantastic. As soon as I find out a little bit more information on what kind of incentives are out there for the solar and where we might start that, the possibilities in my mind for a lot of our antiquated systems of some of our older buildings, both for lighting and other kinds of energy, I think are out there, because you could make such an improvement from the old systems to what's out there now, especially if you can get a lot of that rebated up on the front end. So
That's dollars right back on the bottom of our
it
budget.
is. It really is. Yeah, the savings. I'm excited about the savings that you get from the lighting at the liquor stores and potentially getting some other energy, sourced on the liquor stores, because every one of those dollars saved, it goes back into the community in terms of our recreation programming.
I was at an event last week, and I actually ran into somebody who was working with the city of Bloomington who was doing this. The solar technology has made some significant technological jumps. And there are also some significant dollars out there at the federal level to try to get some of these programs started in some of the areas too. So I talked to Steve and he says, well, we are on some of that already. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear this. We've always been kind of cutting edge and progressive on those kinds of things. And again, it saves taxpayer dollars. So I appreciate your efforts on that. Council member.
What about the possibility, I don't know if the airport would be an issue, but the wind generation at the maintenance facility? Chanhassen has one by a school. I don't know how it's working, but
Yeah.
I see it all the time when I drive by it. Northfield has 2 of them. Just curious if heights would be an issue there, but also whether or not it would be feasible and would it have any payback that it'd be worth doing.
I don't know. I don't know, Pam, if you know at the top of your head what the height.
Off the top of my head, the height would definitely be
Yeah.
May I comment on that because I'm the environmental engineer here? There is a new a new development in that technology as well. And it looks more like a tin can. You know the spinners you see on top of your house? There's something very similar to that, and they can actually architecturally put it in the building. It's not, they're testing it out. I don't think it's quite ready yet, but I think in the future there's possibility to do those as an add-on. So I think you're thinking in the right direction for sure. And you know, because we have the issue of height, and not even just if we could do it, not because of the airport. A lot of people just don't like those tall, big propeller things, and you know, and they're noisy and they kill birds.
Well, that's why I thought about being on the airport, because,
Yeah.
you know, close to the airport rather than in a residential neighborhood or something like that, like here, but
Yeah, there's
it's isolated out there.
Yeah, there's pretty. I know when we looked at the whole concept of when they were putting up the billboards along Cedar Avenue. I mean, there was a whole issue of height, and there was a whole issue of height when we built our garage over there. So I'm thinking that that would probably be a pretty limiting factor. I mean, that's another facility that, you know, I've kind of kicked around with Mike Eastling, the possibility of, you know, is there something more we could do? I mean, we've got geothermal out at that garage, saving us a ton of money already. But if we can get somebody else to come in and help us buy down the cost on the front end of the capital to put these things in, and if they're cost effective, I mean, we should look at doing them.
Yeah, you could be a zero energy building over there.
I mean, really, you know, to get those costs down, which are only going to go up in the future, you know, make a huge difference for the city.
Sure would. Sure would. Please.
I go walking at the mall this morning. I don't know if you ever saw now, they've changed all their parking ramps to LEDs. And it's brighter, it's true color in that.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if we shouldn't look in the future to treat our street lamps
Oh yeah.
going to LED. And I see some cities are even doing LED with solar.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So they don't even hook them up. They just put them out and they run on solar. Them cloudy days, you won't have very good lights, but
Right.
something maybe we want to look at in the future.
Yeah, the LEDs take up so much less energy.
Yeah.
That's why we're so excited about, again, switching out our liquor stores. Because if you think about it, those 3 liquor stores, I mean, you know, all day long, you have lighting in there, you have lighting in the coolers, you know, you'd have, you know, lighting on the sales floor. If you get a chance, take a look at the lighting in Penn. The way it looks, if anybody can remember the way it was about 3 weeks ago, but it's much brighter with the LED lights in there. And then again, Cedar, we should have those probably in another couple of weeks. That'll be done.
Okay. Wonderful. Exciting things. Great improvements. I might ask council approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. We have the consent calendar. City manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. For those at home and those watching on the TV audience, the consent calendar contains several separate items which are acted upon by the City Council in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and the recommended actions will also have been approved, and no further action on those items is necessary. Tonight we have a very short consent calendar, 3 items on it. Item 1 is consideration of approval of a resolution executing membership in a joint and cooperative public safety purchasing consortium. Item B is consideration of approval of a resolution allowing Richfield Department of Public Safety to accept grant money from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Justice Assistant Grant Program, that's commonly known as a JAG grant. And then finally, item C, consideration of approval of resolution affirming monetary limits on statutory municipal tort liability. And that concludes tonight's consent calendar.
I'll move the calendar.
Second.
I just wanted to say that grant dollars you should have put in there, it's nearly $10,000 on that JAG grant. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good work. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have one item. I didn't assign it to anyone. I didn't throw any of you under the bus this time. I took it. Authorize the solicitation of bids to complete the construction of the city fiber optic network. In 2008, the city began a multi-year project to construct a high-speed fiber optic network to include 12 city facilities, police liaison officers at 2 schools, and to connect to an existing fiber network managed by Logis and the state of Minnesota. The goal of the project was to solve network performance issues, provide capacity for the future, and facilitate the installation of voice over IP telephony. high-speed network links to Logis and the city of Minnesota, and the state of Minnesota. 9 of the 12 cities' facilities and the police liaison offices have been built over the past 4 years. Some of these connections were accomplished by leasing existing fiber from the school district. One link is wireless, and the remaining links are underground fiber optic cable constructed by contractors hired by the city. In all cases, the goal of the projects have been met. The 2012 IT and Liquor Fund budget included funds to construct underground fiber connections to the 3 remaining city facilities to complete the high-speed network. These facilities are the Woodlake Nature Center, the Lindale Liquor Store, and the Wine and Spirit Liquor Store. These facilities are currently connected to the city's computer network via DSL service, which is inadequate to support these sites. Staff is requesting City Council to authorize to solicit bids for the construction of the underground fiber connections to these remaining sites. Okay, at this time, I'll make the motion. I'll make a motion to approve the advertisement for bids for the construction of a fiber optic network to connect Woodlake Nature Center, Lindale Liquor Store, and Wine and Spirit Liquor Store to the city's existing fiber optic network.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question.
Please.
Well, I contacted our city manager today, and because it's a big number here, what we're doing, to maybe explain to us people who aren't involved in technology on a day-to-day basis, other than cell phones and computers, what stuff like the nature center, what helps them here that we spend that kind of money that they can't get by with what they have?
Thanks, council member, members of the council. Those are good questions. Yeah, the issue is that our phone system is voice over IP phone system, which means our phone system runs off of our own our cabling. And the Nature Center, because they don't have the fiber optic cable connected to their facility, isn't on the city phone system because they're using a DSL line. That would put them into the phone system with the rest of the city facilities. The DSL connection that we have at the Nature Center is too slow to run the recreation programming software that we use citywide, and it's too slow to take credit card payments. It's too slow to support the city's network servers, and it's too slow to back up data off of back into our own system. And surprisingly, we have quite a few computers listed. I think there's 8 PCs and 2 shared printers at that facility. So, I mean, there's a lot of data going on there that they're basically isolated from the rest of our city system. And those facilities are the last that need to go on the fiber optic. I'm going to step over to an overhead I have. I just want to point something out real quickly. Okay, this would be the point of origin here for the fiber optic. And if you can see, the fiber optic's got to go down this way to Wine and Spirits, and it's got to go back up here to Lindale Liquor. So the fiber optic that we're going to run is going right past the Nature Center. So if you didn't include the Nature Center, you'd probably run the fiber optic cable like this. But to connect to the Nature Center, you've got this little jog. So basically, when you look at the cost factor of putting these installations in, the Nature Center, the cost of the Nature Center portion is really kind of incidental because you're going to run the fiber optic both ways anyway. And the big cost, of course, is fiber optic cable and putting it underground. So the IT fund, which pays, in general for a lot of the phone and computer equipment and software that we have within the city, is putting in a chunk of money for it because it completes the last of our citywide connections. And then the liquor store, because of the runs both ways to get the fiber optic cable connected. But this will allow us to, again, to use credit cards in the facility and get us all connected up for backup data and for voice over IP.
I thank you for sharing that with us, because I'm sure a lot of people, if they read the documents, for some of us, it's hard to understand what we're talking about. So it's nice to vote on something that we know what we're voting on. Thanks.
I just thought it was because all those animals can now use their credit card to go to the liquor store. They can probably have delivery. Is that right, Joe? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. City manager's report? Sorry.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, I really don't have anything to report other than just to remind the public again that June 2nd is going to be the building dedication. We're still hoping that people are going to show up, and got a lot of fun events planned for that day. Somebody's got to guarantee we're going to get good weather, that's all, so we can have it outside. Fred, you're going to do that? Is that what you're...
Hey, this last weekend wasn't very good, and I hear this next one isn't, so I'm not taking any bets on this. But-
All right.
But we have a nice building that everybody can stay dry in
That's
here.
right.
Well, that's true.
They could come in the
But we
building.
have such a beautiful area outside that's just starting to green up, and, you know, the sod is just taken off like gangbusters, and, you know, it looks beautiful outside, so.
When we were having the meeting tonight, I don't know if anybody else here noticed, but Pat notified me, it said, take a look out the window, and there was a T-ball practice
Yeah.
going on out there.
Yeah, it's
Just
cool.
love it.
Isn't it fun?
That park is really being used a lot now.
Yeah, they were taking
especially-
pictures of the ambassadors as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, claims and payroll?
So move.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And seeing no further business, I call this meeting adjourned. This wasn't the fastest meeting, though.
I think you said it right.